As we continue our road trip toward the Pacific Northwest, we crossed Arizona and spent the night in Kingman. Kingman is a crew change point for the Amtrak Southwest Chief. The museum at the depot is closed and the place is otherwise unremarkable. Before entering California, we stopped at Topock, hoping to catch something crossing the Colorado River. Topock was originally called Mellen, a railroad station and steamboat landing at the site where the Atlantic and Pacific Railroad built the Red Rock Bridge, a steel cantilever bridge across the Colorado River, in May of 1890, after three of its earlier, less well-built bridges had been washed away. We continued on to Needles, where 4,900 people live. The Southern Pacific arrived in 1883 and founded the city. In 1884, the AT&SF bought the rights to the line, and in 1906, the original depot and hotel succumbed to fire. In 1908, the Santa Fe opened El Garces Depot and Hotel. The hotel is named to honor Spanish Franciscan Friar Francisco Garces. It was the first concrete depot and dedicated to luxury, comfort, and cultural interests. The hotel and restaurant closed in 1949 as passenger traffic declined. The AT&SF converted the interior for office space and baggage use in the 1950s and demolished the eastern third of the building in 1961. In 1988, the railroad abandoned El Garces entirely, and the city purchased the building in 1999 and opened it as the El Garces Intermodal Transportation Facility in 2014. In 2016, Amtrak opened a dedicated waiting room for the Southwest Chief passengers. The building is unimpressive and little more than a concrete box. It looks like what it is, an office building. We continued our travels to Barstow and visited the Casa del Desierto station and hotel, which was built in 1911 by the AT&SF to replace an older one built in 1885 that burned in 1908. Notice a theme there? The building is a synthesis of Spanish Renaissance and Classical Revival architectural styles with a Moorish feeling as well. The concrete frame is faced with red tapestry brick and beige artificial stone. Majestic arcades and colonnades line the facade, providing shade from the desert sun. Red clay barrel tiles are used to cover the roof. Towers at the building's corners and those of the central projecting bay facing the track are capped with pointed roofs or painted domes. Francis W. Wilson of Santa Barbara, California, designed the building for the Santa Fe and Fred Harvey, along with the Fray Marcos in Williams, Arizona, and El Garces in Needles. The historic structure is the finest remaining depot hotel in California, an elegant presence in the Mojave Desert beside the intermittent Mojave River. The Santa Fe closed the station in 1973. Casa del Desierto was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1975 and designated as a California Historic Landmark in 1976. It became derelict until bought by the city of Barstow and rebuilt following heavy damage in a 1992 earthquake. After restoration and more than $8 million in repairs to earthquake damage, several offices were moved into the building. The Barstow Area Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center also operates out of the former Harvey House. Other public institutions located here are the Western American Railroad Museum on the east side and the Route 66 Mother Road Museum on the north side. The Railroad Museum collects, preserves, and shares the history of railroading in the Pacific Southwest. It houses displays inside the depot and has displays such as railroad artifacts, artwork, timetables, uniforms, tools, and various other types of railroad memorabilia. There's also an HO scale model railroad on display of steam-era equipment and structures. Cars are off the tracks and an engine is derailed, and it looks to be covered in decades of dust. It's a shame because it could be a nice display. There is also an outside display of rolling stock, locomotives, and general railroad operating equipment such as AT&SF 1460, also known as the Beep, Union Pacific EMD ST40-2 9950, and AT&SF's FP45 number 95. Upstairs is the Goldstone Deep Space Communications Complex Visitors Center. There's a lot of interesting displays to see, and you don't want to miss this if you're visiting Barstow. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to our channel for more great videos of our trip.